Is that
We should
Doha or
one
of those?
Yeah.
All right. It is 10 a.m. on Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. Call this meeting of the Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone would please rise. I am giving our invocation. Please pray with me. Holy Father, thank you so much for the blessings that you just pour out upon us every day. Thank you for protecting our area, for the folks who worked long and hard on Friday and over the weekend and probably over the next couple of days as well to protect us from wildfires. And just pray that you would just put your hands of protection around us, keep everyone's property safe, most importantly, keep people safe, those in harm's way and those who respond. Lord, we pray for all of us on this dais this morning that you would give us wisdom to make good decisions and wise decisions, and that you would lead us along your path. Lord, we just pray for our whole county family, that you would protect us, protect all of those who serve the county in whatever capacity that may be, and Lord, that you would walk with us and lead us to you. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join us for the pledge to the U.S. flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, everyone may be seated. At this time, I would like to ask Sandra Recco from the tax office to come up. We are recognizing her for 35 years of service to Wichita County. I'd also like to invite Mr. Smythe, the tax man.
The tax man. Thank you, Judge.
Yes.
Heartfelt introduction. Appreciate Judge
Yes.
Dawson flying in today to make this. Thank you, Judge.
We got all the esteemed
We got 'em all.
dignitaries. Yes. So Sandra, we always like to recognize good milestones for county police. I'm sure you've done this before at 30 years and 25 years and 20. And, yes. So we do want to take a chance to just, this is, in my prayer I said it, but I mean it, it is public service. And oftentimes the public doesn't quite see it that way. And so we do want to recognize you for a long, diligent career and working for the county. Have you been in the tax office the whole time?
Yes,
Okay. So obviously you enjoy it over there.
I do.
Okay. Well, and always want to give a chance to, as part of recognizing your service, also give a chance for your supervisor, in this case the tax man, to discuss the great things that you're doing and wonderful job you do over there. I'll now turn to you.
You know, Sandra started at the tax office field work program in high school, and so that kind of gives you some idea. She's just barely 38 years old right now. But now Sandra has worked for, if I get off the rail here, help Sandra, Bill Carnes, Miles Graham, Monette Pemberton, Lou Murdoch, and Tommy Smith. So she's folklore has it she did the last title and registration work on the last wagon that Travis was riding. That's funny, right?
Yeah.
No, she does a great job. She, and then 35 years, and I think Sandra still got another 5 years she squeezed in the private sector working for a large Chevrolet dealership. So it's actually 40 years of motor vehicle work. And as I mentioned, we were lucky enough to come over here in January and February with Nikki and Angie last month. Between the three of them, you know, it's 90 years worth of depth, Judge and Commissioners I get to come to work with every day. But just a top hand, well respected. Me and Nikki were talking yesterday that in our 18-county Red River region, I can't think of anybody that's got as much motor vehicle experience as Sandra. She carried the water and cut the wood when we got our performance recognition, our business accreditation from DMV, which was a 2-year process. Just a phenomenal employee, here every day, well thought of, well liked, and her longevity, Judge. I mean, you get out there around 35 years or better, you start talking about David Duke and and Sherry in the law library. I mean, it's a very elite club, and I think David's out there around 40 somewhere. William would probably help me on that, but I mean, you get out there past this 35, there ain't many of them around. You know, so she's special.
Yeah. So thank you for your service. Would you like to say anything? Are you sure? Sure. Okay. It's always funny. Some folks jumped out there for others. All right. Well, with that, we'll get a picture. I'll give this to you. Thanks for being
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tommy, wasn't there a Beatles song called The Tax Man?
Yep.
Or something like that?
Yep.
Was it written about you?
That's what, yeah, that was my question.
They play it a lot in October.
We're gonna cue it up the next time you're up here.
That's true. This year we recognized over 90 years of service from
Wow.
tax office folks.
Wow.
All right. That is, I believe that's all for presentations this morning. So at this time, it is 10:06. We will open up for public comments. And I know that Judge Gossam, I believe you've got something to present right now, correct?
Yes, sir. One of the things, it's nice to come back, and I appreciate y'all letting me have time to come do this. One of the things I've done, in fact, last time I was chairman of the University of Kiwanis Pancake Festival, I was running for county judge that year. I was off the court. And they told me after that, they said, we'll wait about 20 years before we let you do it again. And they waited 25, so at any rate, did it. But you can't do it without a lot of help in it, because that Kiwanis Club, when I did it the first time, had 80-something members in it. We have 25 now. But the volunteers we had come forward, and we had a group called Celebrity Cooks, and Ms. Mannon, our district clerk, is one of those that's in that group. And I want to say, Leslie, thank you for coming and flipping pancakes. She's got to be good. We could use her as a regular county and all. And our county clerk did it the year before you were there and helped us do a family thing. And we're sorry about that. We're glad to have you. Had you last year. We'll look forward to having you both next year. Yeah, too. And then a guy that showed up at, you know who your friends really are, that'll show up at 4 o'clock in the morning, not have a clue of what they're going to be asked to do. But Commissioner Fincannon came in and he said, what do you want me to do? And I said, see this mess going on in front of you? Straighten it out. He started barking out directions and got the sausage line going to get it, feed them to the cookers to get it all. Mickey, I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Coming there to do that.
Thanks,
Sorry
sir.
about that.
It's all right, yeah.
Okay, so I knocked off the new judge. Is Katrina here? No.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna leave these with Morgan,
Okay.
if you don't mind, and send those over. She brought in about 24 H'ers.
Oh, wow.
That helped us. But the amazing thing, all that, we had 40 high school kids there at 4 a.m. in the morning. And I checked, and they hadn't been out all night and just come in. They actually had been in bed and got up and came in. But Judge, thanks for letting me use your time here. Gentlemen, appreciate the job y'all are doing. And if you get a chance to join us, it's the 25th anniversary of the Museum of North Texas History Thursday night. You're going to speak for us.
Yep.
Glad you're going to be there. And we still got some tickets left if anybody'd like to come. Y'all take care. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you.
All right. Do we have any other public comments this morning? I would just like to, and we'll talk about this a little bit with the burn ban, but thank both the sheriff's office and the volunteer fire department and the full-time fire departments for their work on Friday. I think we all saw pictures of a bunch of the fires up in Oklahoma that got out of hand, and they were busy on Friday, but nothing got out of hand here in Wichita County, which we thank the Lord for, but also recognize and thank our folks for responding to. So just want to make sure that always gratitude never goes out of style. So thank y'all. Anyone else have any public comment? All right. It is 10:10, and public comment is closed. With that, we move to the consent agenda. There are 6 items on the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions, comments on any of the items in the consent agenda?
Nobody? Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham, to approve the consent agenda. Do we have any questions or comments on any of the items or the motion? All right, that motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 1 in general business, review and approve the regular bills for payment. Verify payroll taxes have been filed and order county treasurer to disperse payroll and/or bills within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, or electronically unless directed otherwise, or may be picked up and ledgered in the treasurer's office.
Motion approved. Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Mahler, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon, to approve, verify, and disperse. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item?
Judge, I have one thing. There was a interpreter fee that was on this list. The vendor reached out and stated that they had made an error, typographical error on the invoice. That was taken off of this list. I think it was $100, and so that will come on a future list.
Is $100 in our favor?
$100 in our favor currently.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll still have to spend it later, though.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but, you know. All right, any other comments on the motion or the item? Okay, that motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 2, discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve and ratify the minutes of the March 11, 2025 regular session.
Motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham, to approve and ratify the March 11 minutes. Do you have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 3, a presentation by Robin Fincannon, Elections Administrator, on progress, initiatives, and developments since assuming office.
I will not be as fast as your first 2 items.
I have gotten to see the 45-minute version of this, and I did ask Robin to
I think it was an
trim
hour.
it down for Commissioner's Court. But the Elections Commission did have a chance to hear from her in our meeting back in February, I think. And there's just so much numbers-wise and other things that have happened in the last year with our elections and progress being made and things moving forward that I wanted the opportunity for the court and for the public at large to hear about it as well. So that's why I invited Robin, and she graciously agreed to do the presentation. I'll turn it over to you.
Alrighty, sounds good. Okay, we are going to talk about, everybody wants to talk about elections, we're gonna start with voter registration, that's the most important part of it. Okay, so just some numbers for you. Total registered voters in January 2024 was roughly 77.6. Total registered voters by November, we were up to 79,805, which was an increase of 2,197 registered voters for the year. Presidential always brings out more people. Total registered voters, we are back down to, as of January 2025, we're back down to 76.4. With suspended voters, you'll look, we were in the 11,000 range. We're down to the 5,700 right now, because we had a mass cancellation at the end of 2024. That's the state mass cancellation for people that are in suspended status. So we did decrease by 3,394 from November until now. So those are just kind of the numbers that we're at currently, and where we were beginning of January, November, and back down.
So suspended status includes,
Suspended status is we mailed you something and the post office says you no longer live there. You stay in suspended status for so many years, and then after so many elections, if you've had no activity and you've never contacted us, the state does a mass cancellation. At the end of 2024, we mass canceled, roughly 3,000 people. And it's probably people that have, you got to think military base, college kids, things like that. It's people that have moved and they have not voted. This is not, if you vote, then that's activity on your voter registration. You're not mass canceled. These are people that have had nothing. But they've been in suspense for X amount of time, and then they get mass canceled off. Okay. Voter registration activities, say mass cancellation, we did at the end of 2020, mass mail out. Mass mail out we did at the end of 2023. That's where we send out all the voter registration cards. Those are what come back in. That's what puts you in suspense. So we have a large amount of returned mail that's what throws people in suspense, that they've moved, they don't live there anymore, that type of thing. November of 2023, we had roughly 7,000 suspended voters. By January 2024, we had upped it by 11,000 because we had so much, you just have so much incoming coming back that they don't live there anymore, and you have to go in and suspend those people. We did have an influx of voter registration applications for the presidential election. New applications, name and address changes, we processed a little over 12,000, a little over 12,500 this last year. 2023, we processed almost 9,000 just in comparison. Cancellations processed, we canceled 3,500 people. That was not including the mass cancellation. That could be deaths, felons, people that moved out of state, voter requests, people that wanted to cancel their voter registration, different things like that. Voter registration activities, we do the death abstracts. We do work those monthly now. 6 weeks prior to the November election, we were getting those weekly from the city health department. We also get the ones from the county. Just the bulk of it comes from the city of Wichita Falls. 2023, we did the redistricting for the city of Wichita Falls. WFISD we did last year. When I say redistricting, that's not redrawing lines. That's just us establishing the boundaries and assigning the streets in our voter registration system. That's not any, the entities do their own boundaries. We just have to do it in our system. So that's what we did in 2023 for the Wichita Falls, and then WFISD in 2024. Maintaining an accurate voter registration file is the first step in ensuring an accurate election. I cannot stress that much. That's why I talk about voter registration before I ever talk about elections. I can create you a fabulous election. If my voter registration system is not where it should be, then it is irrelevant. Voter registration drives all of it. We use the CAD, we use Archer CAD, we use Clay CAD, because you have to think a lot of people that live in Archer and Clay, their address is actually Wichita Falls. So they're naturally DPS applications all come here. They may not be registered here, so we have to use these other appraisal districts information to get them to the right to area.
So we have a couple of school elections that would fall into Archer and Clay as well?
We do for this coming year. When I get to the what's coming up, yes,
Okay.
we do. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We use our mapping system, and then sometimes we have to use Google Maps because for example, the house may face one street, but they have an apartment in the back, a garage apartment that faces the other street. So, well, that's not going to be in the CAD because it's not tied, it's not a separate location. So sometimes we just have to do Google Maps and plant the little person to see if we can tell if there's a garage and apartment there. So we use anything and everything that we can find to try to determine if it's a location, an accurate house, and then what jurisdiction and stuff it needs to fall in. Where's the lines, basically. Okay, mail ballots in 2024. For the primary, we sent out 629. I'm also indicating to you how many were not returned. We had 154 not returned. The May school, that one was City of Burke, City of Electra, and City of Iowa Park. I think it was the three, and maybe BISD. We had 88 that we sent out. We had 63 not returned. The runoff, we had sent out 344, 185 not returned. November election, a little over 2,400. We had 345 not returned. And then the December election was by far the worst one. And we sent out 1,600 for the runoff, and we had almost 1,200 not returned. You have to think, when presidential election brings out everybody who wants to vote. If they check annual, they get every election they're eligible for. So some people don't really want to vote on those elections, but it doesn't matter. If they've checked annual, we have to send them a ballot. Same thing for the November. If they check November and they check resulting runoff, then they get to, in the city of Wichita Falls, they get mailed a ballot for that because they checked, they wanted a runoff. They probably didn't really want to participate in a city of Wichita Falls runoff. They wanted to participate in a higher level runoff. So that's why I think the bulk was not returned for that election, because most of those people were not anticipating a mail ballot for a local election. But that's just what you get when you have a presidential year. You just have so much more people participating, and they're not really interested in the local stuff.
What kind of cost per mail-out ballot does that cost the county?
You're looking at roughly $2.20 for the actual kit. You're looking at about 20, well, it depends on which election. Let's average 25 cents a paper for the actual mail ballot itself. And then to mail one is 97 cents.
So $4,
$3.50
$3.50.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
per ballot.
Yeah.
And that's not counting labor?
That's not counting any labor. That is strictly just
Because I know the
actual
labor to
physical.
prepare a mail-out is kind of intensive.
Yeah, yeah, and that's not including, you know, all the labels we have to print, all of that stuff, so, that was, that's just part of it, so.
It's well over $5, isn't it?
Probably, yeah, when you, if you got down to ink, I mean, you can you wanna calculate everything, I'm sure it is, yes. That does not include, you know, you have to think, everything that we send out, this is also an application that we have to process. So everything that we send out, we have to process an application. Some of those applications we have to process more than once because they don't fill it out correctly the first time. And this does not include just the flat out rejected applications that we receive from people. Okay, upcoming elections, we do have May. This May, we have City and School. We have Iowa Park Consolidated ISD, which does include Archer County residents. We have BISD, which does include Clay County residents. We have Electra ISD, and then we have the City of Burke. So what we have to do is get the list of voters from those counties. They do vote here, no different than Holiday ISD is having an election, but their voters vote in Archer County because the main location is in Archer. Holiday actually is located in Archer. And then in November, we have the constitutional amendment and potentially City View ISD. I think they might have one place on their board that I think may be up this year. Okay, for those of you that haven't seen the warehouse.
Is part of the Iowa Park ISD in Archer County? I know Holiday.
Out of
Yes,
town
there's a,
diversion.
Okay.
yeah,
I
there's
just-
a,
I
there's a
didn't
portion of
realize
it.
that.
I think there's not 6 or 7 voters. I don't even think there's 10 voters.
I knew Holiday crossed over out there, but I
Yeah.
didn't realize that was there. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
For those of you that have not ever seen our warehouse, this is, I don't have any before pictures, but those of you that have seen
I
it,
love
you know
these pictures.
exactly
I've
what
seen it
it
when it
looked
didn't
like.
look like that.
You've seen it before and it did not look like this. This is what we have worked on as well, getting our warehouse organized with the help of Precinct 2. We have their road and bridge crew. We have built these wonderful little stands for all of our bags to hang on to get them off the floor because they were just getting filthy. We try to keep all of our equipment off the floor. We literally don't we try to have nothing on the floor because the floor just gets dirty and it's not good for the equipment. So I will tell you, after the November election and then going into a runoff election, it did not look like this. Just keep that in mind. It looks like this now, but there was a period of time that it was chaos over there, just because we had the big November and then we turned right around and had the runoff. So, okay, let's talk about some website updates. Oh, come on. Okay, well, maybe it won't work. We'll just go look at it and.
I hope it works because there's a lot of cool stuff on the website to run the show.
That's probably the best part of it.
I was gonna miss it.
It just disconnected.
Okay,
We'll connect it back.
fantastic.
You have to have a laying of the hands. See, where you- that's what I'm missing, I think. That's what I.
I wish Tommy and them was there.
Yay. Thank you. Okay, We're just gonna go over some stuff on the website that we have put out there. Keep in mind, we have a lot more stuff out there than what people realize. I think, which is apparent anytime I talk to somebody, I'm like, oh, that's on our website. We always try to put the current information on there. We try to list the locations for early voting, for election day, all of the dates and times. We try to list upcoming elections at the bottom. The candidate listing and the candidate ballot order, those actually link to the state, so there's nothing on there at the moment. We have election notices. We put all of our notices. You'll notice the notices at the top for this upcoming election. We go into what requirements there are for ID, voters with special needs, emergency voting, limited ballots. We have downloads for actually how to vote on the machines. That was something that came up in the last meeting that I had. Was, well, people don't know how to use the machines. Well, this literally walks you through it. It's a how to vote on the Duo, how to scan your ballot. So we do have that out there. We have a link to the live stream if you're ever bored and want to watch us do mail ballots. It's quite intriguing. Mail ballots, we do have a link on that. We have a link to the actual application. We have a link for the military, for the FPCAs. We have a link to a ballot tracker. Sample ballots, I don't have any out there now. That's where we will have the ballots for the upcoming May election. Voter registration, same thing, just how do you register, am I registered, applications, how to do a change of address, different things like that. Volunteer deputy registrar. This year we are starting volunteer deputy registrar training in person. You have the option as a county to let them do the online with the state. And then they come into your office and take the test. Well, that is what we have always done. We do not offer that anymore. We require in-person training, so that way we can go over everything with them. With that being said, the state says you at least have to offer something once a month. We offer it twice a month. They can click on there and they can open their little schedule, and it'll give them the schedule for the entire year. So they can pick which one that they want to attend. We offer a Tuesday and Thursday. Other than I think there's one Thursday or Tuesday that we're closed. We do a 2 to 4 in the afternoon, and then the next one we do is 5:30 to 7:30 to accommodate people that work. So we have set the entire schedule for the year, but we do require in-person training at the county. If they do want to sign up, I think I'm the only one that uses the calendar for the county. They go to the calendar and they just pick which one they want to sign up for. They sign up on our website. So all they do is do RSVP now, they put in their information, it emails them a reminder, and then it puts them on our log and tells us that they're coming. I think we have 7 people signed up for this afternoon, and a couple people signed up for Thursday at this point. So we have everything. And I also use the calendar for poll worker training. That's how they sign up for poll worker training, is on our calendar. I load it out there, they RSVP on pick which one they want to come to, and that's how we know they're coming. So. For those that are not computer savvy, they can call us and we'll sign them up, but most of them do sign up online. Okay, poll watchers, we have a link to the state, candidate and office holders. This is where all of their COH reports go. You'll find all your names in here. There's also a link to current office holders and terms, and then 2024 offices up for election. I'll change that when the state puts out something, because that links to the state website. We have our contact information. We do have an elections email account, and we have a voter registration email account that we monitor. Now let's go to election results, because I think that's probably the better part. Election results, this is for current elections. So if we don't have a current election, this page is blank. So everything else we list on the archive. So we have all of the elections listed out here. What we put out there, I'll just kind of go over the first one. We put the cumulative results, we put the reconciliation, we do put precinct results. I will tell you on the precinct results, you'll notice my little note at the very top. Precinct results, ballot styles, on the CVRs, we redact where we need to. So precinct results, if I have a precinct, I'm just going to say 101. Let's say I have precinct 101 and 102. And 101 had 4 people that voted in that one. I will lump it together with precinct 102. The whole point is to limit voter exposure. I want to create anonymity with the voters, and I don't want anyone to be able to pinpoint, especially if one of those people voted on election day and 3 of them voted in early voting. So we do combine precincts and precinct results if I need to. If there's enough people that voted in that precinct, it's not relevant. But you can click on all of those precinct results. I'll kind of show you what we put out there because we do have to create it ourselves. This was for the December, and basically it just, you'll notice that I did have to lump 208, 209, 210, and 211 together, but and then some of the 3s and then the 4s were good, but this was the runoff. It's just there wasn't enough voter turnout to individually label them separately. We also put voter turnout by polling location. We put the polling place reports. The polling place reports is important because of it tells you the courthouse, when we ran the V drive from the courthouse, it said there was 554 ballots on that V drive. So if somebody wants to look at our result tapes, they can do the result tapes and they can download those and open those and see, okay, there's the courthouse. Let's look at these actual scanners. Okay, that's where it started. Ballot count was 0. They can go all the way down and see. We do redact the signatures of the judges. And right there, at the end of the night, when they printed it, that thing said it had 554 votes. So when we read that, it had 554 votes. So we put that out there for the public to go, okay, when the poll worker closed it, it said it had 554. By the time we ran it in our office, it still had 554 votes on it. So we try to put the result tapes out there that match up with the polling locations. And then the next thing we put is the CVR report. We do put the CVR report. We do redact the polling locations, the device serial number, because that is tied to the polling location, and then if we need to redact the precinct. And then this is what, this is a CVR of every ballot that was cast for the whole entire election. What we are also working on is ballot images. So I'm gonna have to scroll down to the runoff to show you that one. We are putting the ballot images out there as well. Let that download, it'll take a little bit. We are running into a little bit of trouble with the ballot images. I'll open that. And that is the actual ballot. We are redacting the precinct, you'll notice up there if we need to, but that is the ballot image of all the ballots that were cast in person for the Democratic primary runoff. Same thing for the Republican. That's the only ones that I have out there at the moment. Say we're running into a little bit of issue with that, but we're hoping to have all of that out there before too long. So I think if there's anything else you can think of or that you hear of that people want to see, it's possible we could throw it out there. I'm just trying to put as much information out there as possible just to give people the security that the elections are accurate, secure. So I think the more information they can see, the better that is for the public. So,
What's the issue you're running into?
the issue we're running into is these files are huge. These ballot images, first off, there's a ton of them. Just think about for the November election. There's a lot of them. And then when I redact, it increases the size of that PDF tremendously. Right now, I'm waiting on IT to help me because I've got, I don't know if the gigabytes that I was quoted is for the entire county or if that's for the entire county. Okay. I'm using all of it. So we've either got to come up with an alternative or we got to do something differently because just due to the size. I'm running into trouble with the PDFs. I have found out that if I scan them, save them all, I have to these are all saved as images, by the way. So I have to convert them to a PDF, then I have to redact them. If I convert them to a Word document and then convert them back to a PDF. It seems to help with the
Size.
gigabyte size, yes. But I'm still using a lot of size on the website. So I need IT to help me figure out an alternative. I've been talking to Crane West. They threw out some options, but I'm waiting on IT to tell me what my choices are. So that's we're almost ready. We have almost everything ready to be posted. I'm just waiting to get it posted.
And that really cuts down on our open record stuff.
Yes,
'Cause it's
tremendously.
all out there.
Because it's all out there.
available.
Mhm,
Wow.
yeah.
Tremendous amount of work
Yeah.
to do all of what
Yes,
he's
it
already
is.
done. Oh, it's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a tremendous amount of work.
We have the primary ready to be posted, we have the December election ready to be posted, we have the May election ready to be posted, we have in-person November ready to be posted. We just don't have the mail ballots for May, that's the only thing we're lacking, so I just need to figure out what route are we gonna go? Cause I don't wanna be the only, cause you gotta think, right now, I'm supposed to keep this stuff up for 22 months. That's just, I'm supposed to keep the records for 22 months. I would say ideally, I would like to keep them out there for 22 months. There's legislation pending that says we need to keep them for 3 years. There's legislation pending that says I need to have these on the website within 5 days of the election.
Wow.
Ballot images need to be posted within 5 days of the election.
And if
You
you
had
have
to
to do it
redact
within,
them?
Huh?
You have to redact them before that?
I think the redaction thing, I'm not sure how they're gonna go with the redaction thing. I couldn't really find a whole lot of legislation on it, to be real honest. It's just a KP opinion at this point. It's just a
Right.
Ken Paxton opinion. I firmly agree with it because I do think in small precincts, you
Yeah.
can pinpoint.
Yeah.
There's no other way
Yeah.
around it. But I don't know what they're gonna do. I think if they stick with the redaction, they'll extend it to where it's not 5 days. If they say we don't want you to redact anything, then I could see the 5 days going through. So I could see that. I
it'd be a
could
lot
see this
easier
one
if you
going
didn't
through.
have to redact.
Right.
No, I know, that's what I'm
Way
saying. That's
easier.
a big task to have to
Way
undertake
easier.
in 5 days.
Well, I
You're
still have
closing
to,
out
I
an
still have
election
to
and
convert
everything
everything
else.
to a PDF. So these are all saved as PNG files. I have to convert them all to PDFs and then go from
And
there.
there's no way to
So,
redact. You have to do them individually, one ballot at a time. You can't do multiple
Yeah, I can't use the search option in PDF because they're images that I converted to PDF, so they're not searchable. So it's quite the task, but
you have to pull up every ballot individually and pull out that spot.
It's a shame the machine doesn't have the ability to export in multiple file types.
yeah, no, saves as a PNG and then we go from there. And then the only other thing I had was I could talk about some 2025 stuff, but that's only if you're interested. I don't.
It's pretty impressive, all of it.
2025. Of course, I wore the wrong glasses for this. Okay. We've already boxed up almost all the election records, so that's already almost done. The only things that we have left is the mail ballot piece. And we ran out of tape, so I bummed some tape off Morgan today. CVR reports online. I think every CVR report is out there for last year. We've already done that, redacted, completed that. Ballot images is in progress. Say I need IT's assistance with that because we're pretty much done. I just need to get it out there. Verity Build checklist. We're in the process of that. We would like to review all poll worker paperwork this year. I would like to get a group in here to help us go over that, primarily some people that work both election and early voting, so I can get both perspectives. There's certain things you have to do for the state, and then there's certain things you can adapt to yourself, and some of it's just redundant, and I don't think there's any way around some of it, but if there's anything we could do to make it easier, that's what we need to do. Digitize voter registration records, that's all of the records that we have in the cabinets upstairs for all the stuff that's just been in filing cabinets for years. We have started that. That will take us a long time. That will not be done this year just because the amount of time and amount of paperwork that there is. We continue to do voter registration cleanup by doing the city street consolidation. We did City of Wichita Falls when we redistricted them in 2023. I would like to do the same thing in Burke, Electra, and Iowa Park. So that way, and what I mean by that is instead of having 100 Reagan, 101 Reagan, 102 Reagan. You do 100 to 400. If the street range is 100 to 400, I need one line, as long as there's not a split on that street, and get rid of this list of 400 entries and have 1 to 400. So that's what we're trying to do. And I just want to do that with those. The county's a little harder. I don't know that I'll do much with the county unless it's a good chunk of area street that has houses consecutively, but when they're all spread out, it's a little harder to do. But I would like to do the cities. We've already looked for duplicates. We've completed that and found 35. We canceled the federal only. We got 8 of those out of here. We do have an update to election software this year. That will be over the summer. We need to learn Connect Explorer, which that is another thing that I will need IT assistance on. Brendan. We need to learn how to use that system. We have it, we just don't know how to use it, and we really need to learn how to use it. We do have some older poll pads that we need to replace. We need to create a database for all of our equipment. We need to do a better mail ballot workflow for incoming, not outgoing. Outgoing, I think we did a phenomenal job this year. Incoming, of course, it was the November, gets a little hectic. We've got to really try to get that refined a little bit more. Prep for 2026, we've already started. We've already done as much as we can prepping up as our mail ballot kits. Some of the kits are not, they don't come together and you have to put them all together, so we've already kind of done as much as we can on that. I would like to do voter registration drives. These are my wish lists. I don't know that we'll get to it. I'd like to do a poll worker drive. I don't know if we'll get to that either. I would like to visit MSU and Vernon College to see if maybe we could do some recruitment for poll workers there. Also visit some high schools, maybe do some recruitment there for student workers, as well as do any training for high school principals. They are mandatory volunteer deputy registrars. So any training that they would like to have. And then work on some advertising and some partnerships. I have a couple of things in mind. One of them didn't pan out, but I've got a couple other options that I'm looking at. So, and then I would love to have a county-friendly map on the website, but that's another wish list, and I'm not sure how I'm going to get that one done. But anyway, that's all I got.
Hey, you did pretty good.
You give me a PowerPoint and I'm all there.
Robin, we've seen a major change over the past 10 years or so as far as voting locations are concerned. Looking forward, are we in pretty good shape, or we still have challenges there? What are you seeing as far as polls and how we might make that better or
Polling locations right now, phenomenal assistance from the public, from organizations, churches, all that around the county that give us polling locations. If they go to precinct voting, there are places that I don't even know where I'm going to find a polling location. If they keep the consolidated precincts, where if it's the same and you can consolidate, then you might be able to do that. But if they go to you've got to have 40 precincts on election day, people vote in their precincts, it's going to be tough to find some stuff.
you've got to have full resources.
I'm going to be needing
there
somebody's
for 3 or 4
garage.
people if you
Yeah.
could.
I mean, you literally might have to have it in somebody's residence or garage,
Yeah,
because there's no
I'm
other
not real
buildings in
sure.
that area.
We're going to be buying some tents or something. I'm not real sure what we're
And
doing.
new machines and everything.
Yeah, I do not have enough machinery. I don't have enough scanners. I don't have enough controllers. Duos we could make work, but I only have 38 controllers and I have 42 scanners, and that would leave me. That's not enough to cover early voting and election day. But yeah, if they go to precinct voting, if that is something, I don't foresee it passing. I think people like countywide voting. But
And it's still alive? Did it make the cut? I mean, there was talk of it early in the legislative session.
there was legislation
Yeah.
filed.
And I've not
there's
followed it. and
yeah,
need
I
to.
have a 3-page list I'd love to send you of all the ones that have been filed that I follow in TLO.
Okay. That's something that a lot of people don't think about while that process is going on, but it
Right.
really does affect
Yeah.
how we're gonna do business.
Yeah, there's one that says that if you have a college, you have to have a location on the campus. If it's more over 5,000 registered students. If it's over 10,000, you have to have 2. So that would affect us. I don't think it would affect us for VRJC because I think it says the main location, and that one's not considered the main location, but it would for MSU. There's tons. I could go on and on about all of the wanting people to do limited ballots on election day. 'Cause right now they can only do it during early voting. There's just tons of things out there.
Well,
I have a 3-page list.
Yeah. It had been a challenge, looks like it's not going away, is it? That's
No.
gonna continue to be a,
They're not making it any easier.
no, they're not.
Yeah. And say the having the ballots, and I get the ballots. I do. I 100% get it. You know, you have to keep, once the election is over and we run everything, and we finish our partial manual count, you have to lock everything back in the bags for the first 60 days. And that's when, you know, if somebody wanted to, you know, counter something, they have so many days to do that. Well, it's hard to counter something if you can't even see the data. So I get why they want ballot images out there within 5 days. I get it, 100%. But if you're redacting on top of that, plus you're doing a partial manual count, plus in 2025, that, RLA, is it the RLA? That other audit, risk
Oh,
limiting
yeah,
audit
yeah.
starts, man,
And then if you have a runoff,
and a runoff, well, it depends. Runoff for primary is in May, you got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Runoff for that city of Wichita Falls was a killer, because it was so, just, it was
turned
such,
right around,
it was
yeah.
such a turnaround time, yeah.
Did I hear earlier this week or late last week that the government's looking at a federal holiday on election day and making it no early voting for federal elections?
I have heard that. It's also just on the side note of that, I think there's legislation out there to where they want they want ballots to be separated to where federal is on one ballot and state is on another ballot. Somebody has thrown some legislation out there for that. But yeah, I've heard
What does that
I've
accomplish?
heard that as well. Anybody who's supposed to get a federal only ballot would never have the opportunity to get anything local by mistake.
It could also theoretically take some of the ability of states' sole control over elections and federalize it for federal only stuff. I don't think
I don't either.
it's moving.
It's just, I don't either, but there's just, it's, to read some of them, you just kind of go, man.
It's all
Got
up
an
in the
idea
air.
of availability.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
is that it?
Any other
Very
questions?
good, very informative.
Robin, thank you. It's
You're
even
welcome.
better the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard a lot of that saying twice. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much. All right, item number 4, discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve payment to Motorola Solutions in the amount of $15,990 for body-worn cameras and in-car video annual license renewal to be paid from Department 560 from lines determined by the county auditor. Chief, did you want to say anything on this?
This will be the last year we pay for the in-car, but we do need the licenses so we can still review the videos. We need an evidence thing. Once Axon comes online, we're able to get all the videos sorted out on which ones we need, which ones we don't need. We won't be paying that next year, at least part of it. The body-worn cameras, the jail's gonna continue to use those. They're gonna put them on, they have a whole plan of who's gonna wear them and when they're gonna be activated. We could probably cut that number down from 70 next year, 70 licenses that we need. But that'll have to be something we look at next year. But if we don't have the licenses, we can't watch the videos and we're gonna be in trouble.
So that's what the in-car licenses for this
Yes, sir.
last year for, okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there a motion?
So moved.
second.
Can we get her a mint?
I have lots of
Oh, okay. We've got a,
Sorry, I'm sorry.
no, you're good. I feel bad for you. We've got a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to approve payment to Motorola Solutions in the amount of $15,990 to be paid from 560. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? Tanya, please stay. I was worried about you.
She's not gonna tolerate that.
There's something in the air.
All right, then the motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 5, motion to approve M&F Athletic Company, Wichita County 30th District Courtroom proposal request number 23 for 2 accent lights with dimmers at an additional cost of $1,550 to be paid for permanent improvement with lines determined by the county auditor. Mr. Beecham, you just quickly.
Start by passing that down. That's a contingency allowance spreadsheet for the 30th District Court job. Those are always provided with the PR items, so for whatever reason it didn't get attached. This item is to install 2 lights to light the eagles as part of the overall bench. Everything else has lights on it. They're setting up there being the focal point, and they're not lit. So this is to take care of that issue, to make them lit like they should be. If you notice on the sheet that I passed out, it highlighted in pink, there's a judge backdrop allowance. Which is to cover all these kind of items associated with the judge's bench, because we didn't know exactly how that was going to turn out. It was not fully designed at the time we accepted the project, so we put the allowance in there to handle that. The signage associated with it, mounting the eagles, that has not been touched. In fact, if you go about a little past halfway down, you see judge's bench tile that was rejected for looks like $1,892. It was installed incorrectly. It was not what we actually wanted, but decided rather than spend the $1,800 extra that what was put up was fine. So that was rejected, still leaving us with the balance of $25,000. The only money that has been spent toward that was not actually put on the allowance. In order to actually save additional money, bought the seal for $1,949 instead of taking on the project. I bought it through the county. So this is no new money. It's not coming from Permanent Improvement Fund. It's coming straight from the project allowances that were designed for that purpose.
Yeah, and I'll take the blame for this one. This is normally an item that would have been on contingency, but I didn't see that it was coming out of contingency, and so I moved it to general business. But Matt, for your purposes, the motion needs to say that it's going to be paid from contingencies, or does it matter?
Yes.
Okay.
So it'll be my motion to approve this to be paid for out of the project contingencies from the allowance for the judge backdrop and art allowance portion of the contingency budget.
Okay. Have any questions?
Second.
Oh, you have second, okay. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to approve M&F Litigant proposal request number 23 at a cost of $1,550 to be paid from project contingencies, the judge backdrop art allowance section of the project. Have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 6, discuss, consider, and/or take action on a county burn ban. While Dwayne walks up here, I'm going to ask a question, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. The emergency ban that I signed last week expires tomorrow night, Wednesday night at 11, actually I guess Thursday morning at midnight, or 12 a.m. But with that expiration happening, court, if we're going to keep going with the burn ban, court needs to either renew that, extend it, or we can let it lapse, or we can terminate it altogether. So with that, Dwayne, you mind giving us an update on what the chiefs are saying on this and your opinion on where we should go?
All right. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Appreciate y'all having me up here this morning. First off, I want to start off by thanking the volunteer fire departments in the county by stepping up their responses and actually having some folks around the stations are being a little more readily available. I know they work and all that, but they stepped up and went above and beyond to try to be more readily available out there. So, and I appreciate that. And thank you to Sheriff Duke, Chief Rutledge, Chief McFerrin, and all their staff, and for beefing up everybody and putting a few more folks on duty on Friday. It was a reassurance for real for that to have those folks out there. We had a lot of responses, a few fires that they were able to get to pretty quick. We had a lot of I wouldn't say a lot, but quite a bit of damage for roofs and lean-to sheds and roofing material, that type of stuff, metal that blew across the highway and things like that into people's fences, and was causing a lot of issues, dust blowing around. So the deputies being out, and I know quite a few of them I heard on the radio were down the way and just happened to be driving by and saw roofing material fly across the highway there on 368. So they were able to get that mitigated. We called the resources we need to cut that awning down a little bit and lay it down to where we needed to. So that was a good idea on their part to be able to do that. So appreciate them for that. Like I said, I've called all the fire chiefs and got their response to it. They were appreciative of the burn ban, the emergency burn ban put in. Like I said, it goes out Wednesday night or Thursday morning at 12:01. Their general consensus is, by talking to them, was they would like to see it extended, whether you decide to go maybe to the end of the month, or if you decide to go for another extended period, however long you guys decide to do that. It's up to y'all. So the models are starting to show a little bit of rain in April, but we know that's a little ways out, and that could change. Every day that we get a little bit closer, it could change. We could have a lot of rain, or we could have none at all. So the grass, with the little bit of moisture that we've had, some of that grass, wild riding, some of those grasses appear to be greening up a little bit, but we still have a lot of fuel out there that's, foot, 2 foot, 3 foot tall, blue stem, coastal Bermuda, that type of grass that's still out there, that's still dormant. That's still there. It still has a lot of fuel mixed in with that green. And actually the lines that were blowing down the other day, there was a little fire on Old Dog Park Road in Huntington where the grass was green, but it was still burning. It was hot enough. So it's still have that lot of potential there. So with that being said, that was the general consensus of the fire chief. They would not be opposed to you extending it to the end of the month, or if you decide to go for a little bit longer, put it in for 30 days, 60 days, and then look at it. If it starts raining, then we can readdress that. So that's strictly up to you guys on the bench up here, if however y'all decide that you wanted to do that. So
Yeah, so let me ask y'all, I think we're going to do something, and I do think that's the wise course, is to continue it. I would rather than have us do an on again, off again thing, just put one in place, and then we can always terminate early whenever we choose to do it. So I don't think that doing it through the end of March makes a ton of sense. I think if we're going to do it, let's extend it through the end of April or May. We can go up to 90 days, but right now we're not in great shape. Now again, April, a couple of good storm systems, a good soaking rain event could take care of that. We can terminate it at that point. Do y'all disagree? If
You can lift it at any time.
yeah, but of time frame going out through the end of April or longer instead of doing a shorter one?
Is the wording in the emergency any different than the general burn ban? Is it the
No,
same,
it's the same.
thing?
Yeah.
Because we've got ag exemptions and some other
Yes,
stuff.
Those are all still in place. The
Yeah, my main thought is I don't wanna slow anybody's progress down. We've got, but we don't need to probably be burning brush piles and things like that, but there are some things that we might do, like the welding stuff. All we ask there is just caution.
Yes,
And mainly, don't have all eyes under the hood or you'll be on fire before you know it. I've experienced that myself, but.
Judge, Commissioners, what we've seen in the past so far is a lot of your agricultural burns and people that are doing your control burns and stuff like that are really adhering to it and making sure they're watching the weather and all that, but it's the folks that, and I hate to say this, but we had phone calls a few days before the big wind event, people calling my office. I know there's 4 or 5 people called wanting to know, well, if we burn, can we go ahead and burn before Friday? I'm like, well, what are you planning on burning? Well, we got a brush pile we want to burn. I was like, I mean, so it's just, it's things like that people, they think that the big logs are going to burn out in a day, and then they're a week long, and now here are the wind events coming for 3 days. It's people that don't realize that and don't adhere to the weather and look at it's what we're worried about. The farmers and ranchers they know what they're doing. I mean, they do a really good job of taking care of that. But
At least they called.
At least they called.
At least they called.
They'll be burning up their own stuff. It's just it.
So-
And one thing everybody needs to keep in mind, as far as I know, and I'm not trying to step on Mel's hill, liability still stands. Whether
Yes,
you got a burn ban on or not, if you burn somebody's stuff up, you're liable. Is that
Yeah.
basically? I mean, I know that's a general statement, but that's the one thing we need to keep in mind. You need to be careful because you burn somebody's house down, there's a problem there.
When I called the ag office here
Yeah,
about
yeah,
a week ago, was
yeah.
asking some questions about some other incidences. You can burn your property all day long if you want to. It's when
Yeah.
you cross that little border where it starts getting.
It's about swinging your fist as long as you don't connect with somebody else's nose.
Exactly.
You're good, but it's
Yes,
the
sir.
same deal. But I just want everybody to keep that in mind. We're just, and I think with a burn ban, we say to the people, there's something going on, pay attention.
Yes.
Basically, that's what it does, so ask that question. Call and ask, and that's what we're doing. I don't have a problem with extending it. I think we need to. I think it's a wise thing to do. Mickey's right. We can lift it at any time. We don't want to get in the way of anybody's progress. We're not planning on it. Once again, the liability still stands, and that's the limiting factor at the end of the day.
Like I said, 80 mile an hour wind, 70 mile an hour gust, you can't control what the slapping wires or the broke wires, and that's what some of them the other day was the wires broke, hit the ground and set in their arc and then lighting the grass on fire.
Dwayne, I've never seen the time when the dust was so thick that
Yeah.
you couldn't see the smoke, and that's where we were, because I went towards that one out west and was out and about that day, and I've never seen that before, where you flat couldn't see the smoke. That makes it extremely dangerous.
When you can look up on Facebook or YouTube and see cattle feeders rolling across a field that slamming into people's cars, it's a bad day.
I do have a complaint, though. I got hit with a flying school board campaign sign, and I was imagine that.
Yeah.
Barry, did you say there was something you hadn't seen? You've seen
Yes,
everything.
I know, and I'm old, and I've seen a lot, but I've not ever in my lifetime seen it where you couldn't see smoke.
Yeah.
Because smoke's what we always, that's how we figure out how big it is, where it is, and
Yes, sir.
which direction it's going. You could not see it.
And like I said, that's where it come in handy was having the sheriff's deputies out driving around because
Yeah.
they could get there a lot quicker, get a size up, and we actually had a briefing that morning at my office about 10:45
It was
with the
scary.
command staff and them, and kind of kept everybody's vigilance up and went to that, so that was a good thing.
Do you need a motion, Judge?
Well, I think, what do y'all think about having it go from the point that the emergency one ends, so 12:01 on Thursday, 12:01 on
April
Thursday,
30th.
to the end of May?
The end of May,
Or-
or probably, I'd say April.
Okay.
April 30th,
April
because we're
better.
probably gonna get rain in April.
Okay.
If not, we're in serious trouble.
Yeah. We'll know, if it doesn't rain between now and then, we're gonna know where we are.
We can revisit it then too.
Yeah.
You know, and another thing, and a lot of people don't think about this, Lake, 67%? We don't need to be spending a bunch of water fighting fire.
No,
I know that doesn't make a big impact, but it is
but
part of
every drop helps.
part of the discussion.
As we speak.
So, thank you, Dwayne, for that. Are there any other questions? I think at this point, entertain a motion for a burn ban to start at 12:01 a.m. on Thursday, March 20th, and extend through the end of April, so through the end of April 30th.
So moved.
All three.
By acclamation.
And I'll second.
I think I heard Mark on
Yeah.
that, and then Barry seconded. Sorry, you're last.
Okay.
So I've got a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Mahler, to enact a burn ban to take effect at 12:01 a.m. on Thursday, March 20th, and extend through the end of April 30th. Do you have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Per usual, I'll send out a press release and we'll get that posted on the website and do our normal course. Thank y'all. All right, item number 7, receive update on courthouse renovations and county courthouse annexes. Commissioner Meacham.
I'll start by saying this is an older renovation, but still, we, at the very beginning of the wind event the other day, within the first 5 minutes, we lost a portion of the roof here on the courthouse. Manasco got out quickly, as well as building maintenance and precinct 1 staff to weight the roof down and make sure that we didn't lose it all.
They were out here in like within
Yeah,
30 minutes.
They were
It was
quick,
fast.
yeah. So, still awaiting to see that. Luckily, they were on the roof the week before, looking at it. I think we have additional damages underneath in the decking, so we'll be meeting with them, determining what needs to be done. As far as the other projects, we're very much nearing the end of the original courthouse project and the annex projects. We haven't done a final punch walk, but we're getting ready to start doing the final punch walks. 30th District Court project, the doors are here. The doors are installed. They're putting the hardware on them now. The shutters are up. Everything's in place. We're gonna make it in time.
For the 28th.
I can breathe a little bit, maybe. Just gotta get the furniture all in place now, so, but it's gonna happen.
The second set of blinds came in?
All of, it's all there.
That's awesome.
They were installing them right after Commissioner's Court last week, so.
Okay.
I walked through the courtroom yesterday. My only comment is, wow.
Yeah.
It's just as, I mean, I don't know how you would do it any better. It's just incredible.
It's nice.
So a week from Friday, it'll be officially finished. So we'll do our grand opening at 1 o'clock a week from Friday. So everybody, you're invited.
Commissioner, I'm getting excited about the Iowa Park deal. It's-
Iowa Park's
it's coming
looking good.
along.
We
Yeah.
had met out there last week. Everything's looking, it's moving a little slower than I expected,
Yeah.
but it's still, it's moving along.
Once we went through it and looked at it with the sheet, I guess it's sheet rock.
Yeah, the sheet rock.
And you get the feel of the lay of the land. It's gonna be a functional unit. I think it's gonna up our productivity a lot. I'm really excited to get it online, get it going.
Yeah, took the extension office out there last week so they could look around.
Yeah,
They were very pleased with,
Yeah.
with their new facility,
it's gonna function.
so
Have a
excited.
Quick question.
Mhm.
The Burke, in November, I asked for some floor plan, maybe just a drawing, and it's now March and we still don't have nothing. Have you heard anything?
I visited with them last week on that. They're gonna start working on it quickly.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions on courthouse renovations or annexes? Okay. Then it is 11:08 and court is adjourned.